Hello there. There is this saying that you can talk about maize when it is the season of maize. Now let me ask you, what season are we in now? Is it politics with the Anambra election in mind? Is it budget 2018 with a presentation to the National Assembly and the breakdown still fresh in our minds? Or is it the Federal Executive Council's retreat to tackle the dwindling fortunes in the education sector? If you mentioned any of the above three, you're probably right. So tonight on the news, we'll serve you a little extra of each of these trending issues. Also on the show, we shall feature the Senate and House of Representatives, especially their treatment this Wednesday of issues that will interest indigent students and electricity consumers groaning under the weight of high tariffs. I think the president would also be glad to hear that his $5.5 billion loan request was expressly approved by the National Assembly. I guess I've talked too much already, but let me say that there are stories of roads and road safety, health stories, and a bit on agriculture. On the international scene, one of the oldest heads of government in the whole world just got sacked. These are more on tonight's News Extra. I am Fatima Abbas Hassan. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. No nation can rise above its education because education serves as the springboard for every type of development. Hence, if it is weak or dysfunctional, the society and its development would also be weak. It is in this regard that a special retreat on education was held by the Federal Executive Council early this week to address the falling standard of education in Nigeria. Education correspondent Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju brings into perspective the issues that led to the special event.
To maintain order and build a viable society, education should be made a national priority. It is also said that if you want to destroy the civilization of a nation, then destroy its educational system. Such denial can lead to a number of undesirable consequences, such as value erosion, character failure among youth. These traits are already manifesting among youth in the country. This necessitated the special retreat on education by the Federal Executive Council, where the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, urged the federal government to declare emergency in the sector.
Education is our collective responsibility, and its failure can well be taken as the failure of the entire country.
President Muhammadu Buhari says his administration is out to restore the nation's education standard.
It is a very, very serious situation. When teachers cannot pass the exam, they are supposed to teach the children, to pass. It's a very tragic situation we are in, and this gathering together, to me, is one of the most important in this administration.
Notable among issues discussed at the retreat is inadequate funding of the sector, where it is observed that Nigeria is the only D8 country that is allotting less than 10% of its annual budget to education, provision of infrastructure to school, building capacity of teachers and their welfare, as well as increased carrying capacity of institutions. And political will on the part of the government were extensively discussed. The communique released at the end of the retreat will serve as a guide towards revamping the educational sector in Nigeria. Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju, NTA News.
And now to the 2018 budget. Building the economy, fighting corruption and tackling insecurity are topmost commitments of the present government that are yielding results and taking the nation out of recession, technically. The government is offering Nigerians much more with a 2018 budget estimate of 8.6 trillion naira. This, analysts believe, is achievable through collective resolve to fight corruption and block leakages. These are views shared by discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live, on the topic Budget Implementation and the Anti-Corruption War. is over now to Talatu Ezirike for more on that.
The 60s to early 80s, Nigeria had robust economy built on hard work, integrity and rule of law. These virtues gradually faded and factors such as impunity and corruption became the order of the day. These impacted on the economy, particularly on budget implementation, which is meant for overall growth of the country. A trend that the present government has been tackling head-on to bring about the desired change, especially in the 2018 budget estimates of 8.6 trillion naira.
We are determined to eradicate corruption from our body politic.
Those who should know say tackling corruption, all its ramifications, is critical for effective implementation of the proposed 2018 budget in consolidating on gains of the last two budgets.
We really have to look at what is in the budget for our people there and follow it through and make sure that the ministries, the MDAs, have to follow through and get things done through transparent contracting.
The administration must increase the tempo and character of its fight against corruption. Ensure that punishment is prompt and certain. That means you are coercing people in terms of direct retribution of offenses committed and in terms of general extended deterrence.
For others, the need to strengthen institutions and build right individuals is the way forward.
What happened to all the money we got from the oil? Pockets of individuals stashed up across the country, abroad, everywhere. The president is from one country to another, negotiating one bilateral treaty to another, all in the name of please return the stashed, looted funds in your country.
There's room for more improvements, but at least we are getting it.
The clarion call is for Nigerians to be resolute in the fight against corruption for overall growth and progress of the country. Talatu Ezirike, NTA News.
And the review of the performance of the 2017 budget versus the assumption of the 2018 budget was the focus of Good Morning Nigeria this Wednesday. Discussants say that government has a lot to do to realize the assumptions for the 2018 budget, noting that the expenditure of the budget will expand the economy. Gufan Shaji tells us more.
The 2018 proposed budget is one that Nigerians look up to with great expectations as the nation seeks the path of prosperity. Following its breakdown by the Minister of Budget and National Planning, guest on Good Morning Nigeria opined that for the nation to achieve her priorities, ensuring reforms for sustainable economic growth remains essential.
If we don't get this issue of budgetary period very correct, then we'll be having problem with projections. Then we'll have to be doing adjustments every time. And if you make a projection and it's subject to constant adjustment, then it will lose the source.
They say it is necessary that government reduces bureaucratic bottlenecks in the procurement process as well as implement the budget early.
3.5 for 2018, I don't really see it being realistic. On average, year on year, I think we might be hitting that when you look at the trend of the growth pattern.
At the performance of the budget for 2017 and the projections for 2018, it means that government needs to do a lot in terms of actually tidying up the process and making the budget as early as possible.
The guests unanimously called on the National Assembly to pass the budget speedily for the consolidation of gains so far recorded in the economy. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
Well, even if you're not an economic analyst and you don't understand the jargon in this story, know that something good is happening to the economy. Nigeria's inflation has slowed for the 9th consecutive time, with a 0.01% reduction in the deadline inflation in the month of October. Olayinka Ojo provides an insight to the Consumer Price Index as released by the National Bureau of Statistics.
Statistics says annual inflation in Nigeria slowed for the 9th month in a row in October, easing to 15.91%. A separate food price index showed inflation at 20.31% in October compared to 20.32% in September. The rise in the food index in October 2017 was caused by increases in prices of bread, cereals, meat, oil, fat, coffee, cocoa, milk, cheese, eggs, vegetable and fish. Last month, the central bank governor Godwin Emefiele said he expects inflation rate to fall at a faster pace to reach single-digit rates by the middle of 2018. The central bank kept interest rates at 14% in September to keep liquidity tight, saying that loosening might worsen inflation. The Bank Monetary Policy Committee is due to announce its latest interest rate decision on November 21. Nigeria emerged from its first recession in 25 years in the second quarter of 2017.
Itself also has showed signs of recovery, albeit through the turnaround in the negative GDP position into positive GDP position of about 0.55%, which though is fragile, but we think shows that we are in the right direction.
With the current rise in the price of crude oil at the international market, coupled with improved growth in other sectors of the economy, economists anticipate that the country will experience some impressive growth in the quarters ahead. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Joining me in the studio to discuss further on the Consumer Price Index is Dr. Uche Uwaleki, Associate Professor of Finance and Head of Banking and Finance Department of the Nasarawa State University. We're glad to have you in News Extra Studio.
Thanks for inviting me, Fatima.
Yeah, like we have just heard, inflation has slowed for, the 9th consecutive month. What do you think is responsible for this, and what is the implication on the economy?
Well, let me start by saying it's really cheering news. If you know where we're coming from, in 2015 January, it was as low as 8.11%. By 2016 January, it moved to 9.6%. 2017 January, it peaked at 18.72%. So today, since January, it's been climbing down, and today we are talking about 15.91%. So I think it's cheering news. Of course, there are two parts to it, to the CPI. The first is the core inflation, which actually rose marginally, from 12.12% to 12.14%, and the MBS blames that on largely on the increase in the motor vehicle spare parts. Yes, motor vehicle spare parts and shoes, footwear and the others. And of course, that should be expected because we are going into the festive season. So I expect this trend too in core inflation to linger, right up to January. If we use past trends, if past trends are anything to go by, then the food inflation, yes, dropped marginally. Again, for the first time in many months, it dropped marginally from 20.32% to 20.31%. Okay, that's the food component. But of course, the increases too have been driven by increases in the cost of the tubers.
But why is it that there's still, the prices of foodstuff is still high?
Yes, that's the point I was making. Of course, that for food inflation, we have had challenges in that sector. This farmers herdsman clashes is one factor. You also have farmers' inability to access fertilizer. But of course, the marginal drop we've witnessed. You can attribute that to the fact that we have the harvest season is here, and there is also not forgetting the interventions by the central bank, particularly in the area of rice. The Anchor Borrowers program has helped to moderate food prices. And going into next year, I also expect that following policies on agriculture, if they are implemented, food prices will come down. And one implication of this is that we are likely, even though we may not get the target of 15.7 specified in 2017 budget, that of 2018 looks realistic to me now, 20.4% for 2018. That's the target we have for inflation rate. So we are likely going to achieve that. And listening to the CBN governor, if inflation rate drops, we should also expect that interest rate will drop, because the monetary policy rate cannot remain at 14% if interest rates, if inflation rate is coming down. So it's a good development.
Okay, now looking closely at the MBS statistics, Bauchi State is said to have the highest inflation, while on the other hand, Kogi State has the lowest. What's the possible explanation for this?
Yes, it's really surprising that, you know, in a country, the same country, you have Bauchi State for the all item index is as high as 23%, then Kogi about 9% or so. So that differential is so wide. And if you even look at the food inflation, food inflation is highest in Kwara at 26%. And least in Kogi, again, at about 11%. So, and Kogi and Kwara are within the same geopolitical zone. So one factor that may account for that is high transport costs, you know, high cost of transportation. So if we're able to fix transport costs, you can expect that, you know, these differentials, you know, will narrow. And inflation generally will begin to come down. So that's why I also think the 2018 budget, if it's implemented, particularly the infrastructure aspect, that inflation rate you know, will come down.
Thank you very much. Dr. Uche Uwaleke, Associate Professor of Finance and Head of Banking and Finance Department of the Nasarawa State University. Now, moving on, the sustainability of the 2.01 trillion naira deficit in the 2018 budget, financial experts say, depends on government's realization of its revenue projection as the Debt Management Office releases Nigeria's total public debt for the month of September 2017. These are more on our business news segment with Abolade Salami.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on the business news segment. The improvement in the deficit from 2.35 trillion naira in the 2017 budget to 2.01 trillion naira in the 2018 budget estimate, financial experts say, can only be sustained if government achieve its budgeted revenue projection.
Where government fails to achieve revenue projections, particularly I mentioned the challenge that we may have to contend with in non-oil revenue, then the deficit will widen. The deficit is 2.01 trillion and capital expenditure projection is 2.3 trillion, which means for you to achieve the capital expenditure implementation, we must achieve our revenue projections. Otherwise, we're going to increase our borrowing to be able to meet, to engage in any capital expenditure.
The Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele has reaffirmed the commitment of the Apex Bank towards ensuring the stability of exchange rates. He says as market confidence and improved sentiment remain, the exchange rate will begin to appreciate against other major currencies.
I am very optimistic that the Monetary Policy Committee may begin to see strong justification for an easing of monetary policy which may further accelerate the economic recovery process through reduced interest rates.
The Debt Management Office in its September release says the total public debt stock comprising the federal government, states and federal capital territory stood at 20.373 trillion naira, showing a marginal increase of 3.6% from the 19.637 trillion naira as of June 2017. A breakdown of the stock shows that domestic debt accounted for 76.96%, while the external debt accounted for 23.04%. And here are details of movement of stock on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange today.
The all-share index closed at 36,617.45 basic points, valued at 3.324 billion naira, with a volume of shares traded at 184.247 million shares, which swapped hands at 3,590 deals, with a market capitalization of 12.67 trillion naira.
And that ends business news tonight. Many thanks for watching. News Extra continues shortly. Please stay with us.
And on to politics now. President Muhammadu Buhari says, in spite of his administrative stand on inclusivity in the implementation of the change agenda, the people of Anambra State and indeed the Southeast will be far better off belonging to the mainstream politics of Nigeria. To this end, he called for the election of Tony Nwoye of the governing APC as governor of Anambra State to chart a genuine course of socio-economic revolution in the state. This was at the grand finale of the APC governorship campaign rally in Oka, from where State House correspondent Adam Sambo now reports.
This mammoth crowd of supporters, described as unprecedented in the history of electioneering campaign in Anambra State, clearly indicates that the people are ready for change. This was further heightened when the son of the late Ikemba of Inewi and highly revered Igbo leader, Chief Odumegu Ojukwu, formally announced his defection to the APC.
It is time for Igbo to move from the recesses of the periphery to the center. It is time for us to leave the shadows and come to the light. Mr. President, I'm proud to stand here today in support of you, in solidarity with you. I am proud to be here today in support of our candidates.
More assurances of political goodwill and support for the candidacy of Tony Nwoye were to emerge when all the aspirants that contested the primaries with him converged to show solidarity.
For the fact that you set your foot on this soil, Mr. President, APC is going to win.
Highly elated by these developments, President Muhammadu Buhari said the unfolding scenario clearly shows high level of acceptability of Tony Nwoye and urged the people to ensure his election massively on Saturday. This, he said, will mark the beginning of greater sense of belonging to the people of the area in the Change Nigeria project.
The APC will bounce back and get our governor elected next Saturday. I assure you, I'm ready to not side of my campaign promises.
Do you need any other evidence that this nation loves you? The entire federal machinery came here deliberately to make that point. Are you still in any doubt?
The chairman, National Campaign Council for the Tony Nwoye governorship election, Governor Muhammad Abubakar of Bauchi State, and other speakers were unanimous that the presence of President Muhammadu Buhari and his formal endorsement of the APC candidate provided the desired moral booster for a glorious outing at the polls.
Igbo is too important to the Nigerian nation for you to operate at the periphery. The revolution of taking you back to the mainstream has commenced.
All we are asking is that give us Tony Nwoye to fix the political bridge back to Abuja. That's the sense of our campaign. I report to you that the men and women you see here are ready for duty on Saturday, November 18th.
The candidate, Dr. Tony Nwoye, assured the gathering that he will not be disappointing if given the mandate to govern Anambra State. President Muhammadu Buhari has since returned to Abuja. Adam Musambo, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has mobilized over 60,000 personnel and 21,000 ad hoc staff in furtherance of its efforts to conduct a successful governorship election in Anambra State come Saturday, November 18th. Political correspondent Ifeanyi Okafor reports that 1.4 million registered voters in the state are expected to participate in the election.
Among the critical instruments that to a large extent will determine the level of public participation in the 2017 governorship election in Anambra State is the card reader machine. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu, after successful consultative meetings with all the critical stakeholders, is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that the Commission conducts transparent elections on Saturday. With more than 2.1 million registered voters, the Resident Electoral Commissioner says 4,608 polling units and 731 voting points have been established in the state for the registered voters. The Commission has also issued 94,256 permanent voter cards out of a total of 308,725 available.
I have no doubt about the electoral body's capacity to do what is just. They are more prepared now than in the past, and a few of the improvement that has come into the system gives confidence that exactly what
should be done with. I'm sure there will be no inconclusiveness this time around.
Even now, as the state and people prepare for the exercise, reports indicate that the mood in Awka, the state capital, and major cities is one of anxiety, particularly in the light of an unprecedented number of governorship candidates, totaling 37. With the deployment of security personnel, expectations are that the process will be incident-free. The 2017 governorship election in Anambra State has been described as a litmus test for the electoral umpire, INEC. Ifeanyi Okafor, NTA News.
In a different development, ahead of the December 9th National Convention, all the aspirants seeking the chairmanship position of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have signed a peace accord, committing themselves to a peaceful convention and sportsmanship on their part. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba reports that they signed the agreement in the presence of the party's national leadership.
In a relaxed mood, 6 of the aspirants, Raymond Depis, Rashid Ladoja, Tunde Adenoran, Jimmy Abaje, Uche Secondus and Bienga Daniel, alongside their campaign coordinators, signed the Peace Pact. It entails their commitment to prevent election violence, abide by the zoning principles, and place Nigeria and party above personal interests, among other issues.
So on behalf of my colleagues, I can guarantee that this convention will not break our party. This convention will not make anybody leave the party.
The PDP National Caretaker Committee Chairman, Senator Ahmad Makarfi, described the initiative as the first of its kind in the party.
Even if it's a single candidate, there will be election. But we know that PDP as a family talk to one another and try to minimize the hardship of the processes. We are not averse to that, but what we said we are not going to do is to enforce, to exclude anybody from the process.
Meanwhile, more aspirants continue to show interest in other elective offices of the party. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the reinstatement of the security aids of Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State. While welcoming the president in Awka Wednesday for the grand finale of the All Progressives Congress governorship rally, the governor had complained about the withdrawal of his security aids. A statement by Femi Adesina, special advisor to the president of media and publicity, says before departing Awka, President Buhari directed the Deputy Inspector General of Police Operations, Joshak Habila, to ensure the return of the governor's security personnel. Let's now pause and make some money. Are you worried about your electricity bill? Well, the National Assembly feels for you. We'll tell you more about this when we return in just a moment. Join us again.
From 1967 to 1970, Nigeria went through a horrifying civil war. It didn't matter who was wrong or right. Everybody suffered. Those who fought that war say it should never happen again.
So a lot of people will say, but you were leading the first one. Yes, I led the first one. I don't think a second one is necessary. We should have learned from that first one. Otherwise, the dead would have been to no avail, would all have been in vain.
The words of our elders are full of wisdom.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Unbelievable prize extravaganza just turned the week upside down. Thousands of winners will win hundreds of millions in prizes. Recharge Monday and win a flat screen TV. Ring in Recharge Tuesday with free 4G LTE phones. Recharge Wednesday and feel the power with free generators. Recharge Thursday with free fridges. Free microwaves make Friday free day. On Recharge Saturday, free Glow 4G MiFis. And just when you thought it couldn't get any bigger, a Sunday recharge could win you a car. Recharge and win every day. The more you recharge, the better your chances. The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
In the Anambra, it's time for change. Let us join the progressive change mantra. Anambra, land of great men and women. Anambra, the land of Tony Nwoye, a visionary leader, young, energetic, focused and humble, tested and trusted. The quintessential great man, Tony Nwoye, the choice of the young and the old, the choice of the masses. Tony Nwoye, the choice of the people, the flag bearer of APC, the bearer of change. Good people of Anambra, it is time to move forward with the dynamic and reliable achiever, Tony Nwoye. Ndi Anambra wants you. Tony Nwoye, the choice of Anambra people. APC, the change is here.
Welcome to Zamfara, where opportunities meet commitment. The more than 6 years of Abdul Aziz Abubakar Yari, the people's governor, reflects new dawn, new opportunities, progress, new hope, and of course, the transformed Zamfara state. Education, health, roads, water supply, and road transformation. Name it. Abdul Aziz Yari leads for others to follow. His vision and mission tied around implementing the President Buhari's change mantra to Zamfara people. Carry on, the people's governor. Zamfara, the pride of the nation. This message is brought to you by Arewa Media Group.
Now where you go when you wear makeup like masquerade?
I dey go give Johnny money make he help where Junior feel in jam for, so he go get admission.
Mama Junior, you no need any professional form filler to help your son to fill in jam form. All the information we candidate need dey inside 2018 UTME jam brochure, and then click on the brochure. Go sir, you go see the tertiary institution you wan attend, the course where you want study plus the UTME subject combination you need for the course you want do, whether na teacher, scientist, lawyer, doctor. You go know the higher institution them where they your area and whether your state na ELDS, educationally less developed. Click www.jam.gov.ng to know the correct amount to take buy form and all other things them before Jam begin sell form. You dey educated enough to fill the form by yourself for yourself.
This message is by Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, enhancing academic excellence.
So, tell me, why invest in Anambra and not somewhere else?
Ready availability of skilled manpower.
What about security?
Watertight. What are the states in the country with the lowest crime rates?
Infrastructure?
Maka, guaranteed solid infrastructure.
And how about government policies?
Unmatchable. Government has even established the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, ANSIPA, to assist and accelerate things for investors.
How about the elections?
In the Anambra, the choice in this election is between having a tomorrow you're unsure of and one that points to greatness.
Let's vote for a greater tomorrow. Vote Abga. Vote Willie Obiano. Better today, greater tomorrow.
Ever since I was born, every time it gets dark, the noise makes us start. My daddy doesn't like running the noise makers all night. But because of my baby sister, he has to. One day, Daddy came back with these numerous yellow box and panel. He said that it would give us light. I did not believe him until you turned it on. We had light. I was so happy. I can watch my cartoons now. And at night, Daddy didn't know how to switch the noise makers on because the luminous yellow box was still working. And the best part is it's very, very quiet. Shh.
behalf of the entire management and staff of National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, the DG and CEO, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, wishes to express sincere gratitude to the President and Commander of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for honoring our invitation to deliver the opening address and declaring the E-Nigeria 2017 conference open. Your acceptance to attend was a demonstration of your commitment and strong belief in using ICT as a major driver of developmental initiatives, governance, and economic reform plans. NITDA is proud to be part of Mr. President's ICT revolution. Thank you, Mr. President. We also wish to extend our appreciation to all National Assembly members, governors, ministers, academics, ICT stakeholders, and all other participants and the management of Nigeria Television Authority for their support. I also plead with all ICT stakeholders to join hands in the implementation of the communique of the conference issued. Long live Mr. President. Long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Long live ICT sector. Announcer Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami.
This is to inform the retirees on the pension payroll of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, that there will be a nationwide pensioners' physical verification exercise to be held at the zonal offices and at Lagos zonal office of the agency. Any retiree who fails to participate at the above stated zonal offices has an option of being verified at Western Zonal Office 88 Marine Road, Apapa, at his or her own expense. Pensioners are advised to visit the agency's website www.nimasa.gov.ng for further details. Management Anambra.
This is Nigeria, a nation fast developing its potentials. Nigeria is developing, and you have a part to play in nation building. Declare your assets and income today in the Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme, VADE, which is on till March 31, 2018.
When you honestly declare your assets and income and regularize your tax status through VADE, the government will have more resources to build a better Nigeria.
Declaration before December 31, 2017 attracts no interest, no penalties, no tax prosecution, and no tax audit. Visit www.vades.gov.ng or the nearest tax office for more information. This message is brought to you by the federal government, Federal Inland Revenue Service, and the State Boards of Internal Revenue. VADES, I declare, my duty, my nation.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
It's good to have you join us again on News Extra tonight. Now, since the introduction of the prepaid meter in Nigeria in 2007, electricity consumers have been grappling with the challenges of access to meters and the billing system. This resonated on the floor of the House of Representatives as the legislators urged the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing and the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission to investigate the qualities of the meters and the billing regime. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo has the details.
After the unbundling of the Power Holding Company of Nigeria in 2013, which saw the emergence of 11 distribution companies and 6 generating companies, Nigerians expect that by this time electricity consumers will have a fair share of the billing process and have value for money. But unfortunately, the expectations is unsatisfactory, as observed by Representative Lama Deshino, who moved the motion to check what he described as excessive electricity charges by distribution companies.
That the distribution companies, in an effort to meet up with the deadline, commenced the installation of new set of prepaid meters which do not satisfy the expectations of electricity consumers in the country.
The need to constitute the board of the Securities and Exchange Commission and appoint executive commissioners was adopted as moved by Representative Yusuf Tajuddin from Kogi State.
That the board need to be constituted right now so as to help the Nigerian economy fulfill its full potential.
And they said there are as many as over 4,000 vacancies into boards of public institutions in this country.
That they cannot perform their constitutional function except the board is established.
The motion urging the National Universities Commission to allow fresh graduates to enroll for master's degree programs without requiring them to serve in the National Youth Service Corps, moved by Representative Sani Zoro from Jigawa State, received divergent opinions as Speaker Yakubu Dogara referred it to the Committee on Justice for further consultations.
You are under an obligation to make yourself available for service. Except you fall within the exemption, you must.
The need to complete construction work on the East-West Road, Rumukurushi, to One Eleme Junction, moved by Representative Beta Piafe, was adopted. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTN.
Academic grants are made available to assist indigent students in order to afford a balanced academic pursuit by all with common opportunity. There has been clamor by certain interest groups and individuals, especially those concerned with education of every citizen, for Nigeria to have a functional academic grant well enshrined into the system. It is a response to those needs as an imperative towards ensuring equitable provision of education to all that the Senate has passed for second reading the National Student Financial Aid Scheme Bill. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adeguloye has more on this welcome development.
A sponsor of this bill, Issa Misol, shares his sentiments on the need for this balancing act by government for education for all with fellow senators.
The bill therefore seeks to provide a realistic framework for the success of education financing. It repeals the existing Nigerian Education Bank and establishes a student financial aid scheme.
Every successful society must find a way for us to make this easier for our people.
In a similar vein, issues concerning development of a functional national library system, fundamental for the country's educational pursuit, and the revival and promotion of reading culture among the citizens came to the fore with the sponsorship of a bill for an act to amend the National Library Act of 2004, moved by Senator representing Ekiti South, Biodun Olujimi.
Illiteracy among Nigerians with its socio-economic implications has become a growing concern in recent times.
The National Library must drive reading culture among kindergartens and the youth of this country.
On President Muhammadu Buhari's drive towards ensuring prudent management of the economy and discipline, a senator representing Plateau Central, Joshua Dariye, sponsored a bill for an act to repeal the Finance, Control and Management Act of 1958 and enact the Finance, Control and Management 2017, urging the government to bring the former back into the system as a working document that will guarantee success in the fight against corruption. The senators also resolved to urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to urgently provide the necessary interventions to affected traders due to the fire disaster in the Central Market, Guru, Yobe State. This came in a motion sponsored by the Senate leader Ahmed Lawan.
The Senate is disturbed that the affected traders and shop owners are suffering untold hardships due to the disaster.
Also adopted was a motion on the alarming upsurge of malaria incidents sponsored by Senator representing Kano Central, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso.
The legislators concurred that the actions of the IGP fly in the face of the nation's nascent democracy. They also agreed that an incumbent governor has the constitutional right to have his security aides attached to him.
From the
Muhammadu Buhari administration's economic drive has right from takeoff been receiving support by agencies of government and the general public, in view of the fact that empirical evidence over the period approved the viability of the government policy in that regard. No wonder, therefore, that the 2018 budget proposal presented to the National Assembly received acclaim of the lawmakers and commendation which conformed with the general view of the public. In this special report, National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo gives us an update on this welcome development against the backdrop of the approval of the bicameral legislature of $5.5 billion Eurobond in the international capital market, requested by Mr. President as a catalyst to the operations of the 2017 budget.
Something like a joint consensus by the bicameral legislature. The request of Mr. President was approved by fiat. This, of course, might not be unconnected with the general confidence the lawmakers have in the workings of the Buhari administration, as both chambers approved the standard loan request of $5.5 billion United States Eurobond by Mr. President.
Terms and conditions of the loan are favorable and do not pose any compromise to the integrity, independence and interests of Nigeria and its citizens.
Prior approval of the National Assembly should be obtained in the event that federal government decides not to approach the capital market for that $3 billion.
$2.5 billion for financing of the capital component of the 2017 budget, while $3 billion is for refinancing of the maturing domestic debt obligations of the federal government.
The implementation of the 2017 budget is key because any appropriation act that is not implemented is worthless.
For the financing of the federal government of Nigeria 2017 Appropriation Act and capital expenditure projects.
Although the 2018 budget was received by the lawmakers and the general public with great expectations, however, the euphoria did not elude the attention and focus of the assemblymen on the need to attain the objective of the 2017 budget to a logical conclusion. This perhaps underscores the approval of the loan request by Mr. President. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Onkwo, NTN News.
And from the National Assembly, we'll move on to the activities of the Executive. The Federal Executive Council, at its meeting Wednesday, approved the sum of 458 million naira for the Ministry of Budget and National Planning to retain some of its Malaysian consultants, assisting in the building of a focused laboratory system relevant to the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan initiative. And the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing got the nod for the rehabilitation of Gombe Biu Road at the cost of 27.233 billion naira. It's over now to State House correspondent Jide Onifade for the details.
The Ministry of Budget and National Planning got the approval for the consultants based on its intention to construct 3 laboratories, as explained by Minister Udoma, one in agriculture and transportation, one in power and gas, and one in manufacturing and processing.
Now, the focus of the lab is to mobilize private sector investment to finance specific capital projects. As you know, public resources are limited. So these labs will bring in private sector players who will look at the various areas, including infrastructure, including manufacturing, and bring them in and mobilize private sector financing and resources.
Similarly, Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who got approval for the rehabilitation of a 119-kilometer road linking Gombe State to Borno State and other states in the zone at a cost of 27.233 billion naira, speaks under new National Building Code.
You will recall that the ministry had launched an energy efficiency building code earlier in the year. That has now been incorporated as a national building code to ensure that people build more in compliance with global standards. Now you can position your building in such a way that you use more daylight, conserve energy, you install fire heating systems that conserve energy, and so on and so forth.
Minister of Information Lai Mohammed led the two ministers to brief the press on the deliberations of the council.
Our principle for 2018 is that Nigeria is not going to Russia as a spectator.
Minister of Youth and Sport Solomon Dalung informed the press that the council also commended the national team for their performances in their qualifying and friendly matches. The State House, Jide Onifade, NJ News.
Work is expected to begin next week to rid the Apapa port of traffic grindlock, as a meeting between Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and some key players in the private sector has yielded positive solutions to the recalcitrant problem that has been causing the country to lose millions of naira daily. State House correspondent Jide Onifade again reports.
The traffic gridlock at both the Apapa and Tinkan ports has been a major problem to the ease of doing business in the area over the years, defeating all efforts previously undertaken. With the directives of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at this meeting calling for an immediate and urgent solution, the end to the traffic gridlock, which has been a nightmare to port operators, may now be in sight.
Is to show that we hear the discomfort of the people of Apapa, the truck owners, the exporters, the importers. Work is going on the first 2 kilometer section, and if you look at some of the roads leading out of Apapa towards Ijora, Costain, you see that some repair work has also been done there. So we will crack this one.
Issue of road issue, the access to the Apapa and Tinkan area is really in a very bad situation. We've noted that there's a need to move empty containers out of that location. So we have received clear directives that all empty containers need to be taken to holding bays. Shipping companies cannot have holding bays within the port locations anymore. So that will free a lot of traffic within the area. We've also noted the need to ensure all tank farm owners comply to the utilization of their holding bays. No more approvals of tank farms would be permitted within the Apapa area any longer. There's also full commitment by AG Dangote to complete the reconstruction of Wharf Road by June 2018, and also palliative works would commence within immediate period for Tinkan Island.
Government will be able to save a lot of money. Right now, the total loss to the economy is over 10 billion a day. You know, because right now you have to understand that Apapa and Tinkan Island ports handle about 80% of the cargo that comes into Nigeria. You know, and as we speak today, some of our ships, they are waiting in Lome to come and discharge. It's not because that we don't have anywhere to berth the ships. No, there are spaces, but because all our operations are choked up, because we have, you know, containers, we have general cargo that have actually been there and we are not able to remove.
Despite the present problem, the ports were still able to exceed their annual metric tonnage of 34 million and now 80 million per annum, an indication that more revenue can be generated if the gridlock problem is decisively tackled. In the State House.
Thank you, Jide. Now, I know you would all agree with me that this is the time of the year when road traffic accidents have a field day because of increased vehicular movement. Well, we all know the reason for this. Worried by past experiences, Power, Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola gathered stakeholders of roads management in Abuja and tasked them to work together to reduce crashes and ease traffic this time around. Timothy Yusuf tells us more.
Nigeria's rating in the world in relation to the number of fatalities resulting from road crashes is still of great concern. According to the Federal Road Safety Corps, between 13 and 20 lives are lost to road traffic crashes monthly in Nigeria. This meeting is at the instance of the Minister of Works, Babatunde Fashola, with zonal directors of highways from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, all the Federal Controller of Works in the 36 states of the Federation, as well as FRSC state sector commanders and the Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi. The meeting was to enhance information sharing as well as build a cordial working relationship between the FRSC officials and Federal Controllers of Works in the states on how to meet up with challenges confronting the road sector. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing directed the Federal Road Safety Corps to carry out a road audit, remove illegal speed breakers and identify black spots.
Please remember always what is our primary responsibility there. Once you are commanding, a sector commander, what's your primary responsibility there? Safety. Then economy. The economic part is how can you do, what can you do to reduce that commuter's travel time?
The Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi appreciates the minister's move, saying it will not only ensure that roads management in Nigeria conform with global standard, but also enhance greater discipline on the highways.
The review of the signage, we have conducted the assignment, completed the assignment. What remains now is for the construction of the highways and for us to produce, install and maintain, which is what we directed. And I want to assure you, those 3 approaches, produce, install and maintain over a period, we are ready for that.
The Corps Marshal further identified indiscriminate parking on the highways as a major challenge to the Corps. Other reactions at the meeting solicit the cooperation of the federal controllers in checkmating road abuse. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And now to issues of security. These days, it is becoming attractive to be resident in the Niger Delta region, at least due to the level of security the people there are enjoying. It is one operation after the other: crocodile smile, python dance, octopus grip, and so on. I'm not surprised, therefore, that the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, is in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, to check on his officers' ratings combating emerging trends within the Niger Delta region. Umar Basi Edet reports that the Admiral Ibas held an interactive session with his men.
Securing the maritime domain and protecting its territorial waters has remained the priority of the Nigerian Navy. For the officers and men of the Eastern Naval Command, the task, though challenging, must be achieved.
We do not need to wait until an individual threatens the corporate existence of Nigeria or threatens lives and properties of Nigerians before we respond. No individual has the audacity to threaten a country, and we will continue to do that, which we must do.
Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ibok Etiba said the Nigerian Navy, through its recent acquisition of about 150 ethanol gunboats, is more than ever prepared to handle various.
And as the residents of the northeast of Nigeria, particularly Maiduguri, are gradually putting the ugly experience of insurgency behind them, those who have contributed to the resurgence of peace in the area are being appreciated. At a night of honor in Abuja, Yerma News Express magazine, a Maiduguri-based outfit, celebrated individuals and organizations that have held the insurgency-ravaged city of Maiduguri together this past years. Musbao Danwahab has that report.
It's the 4th anniversary of Yerma News Express magazine, one of the few organizations still active in the insurgency-stricken city of Maiduguri. Worthy of note is the fact that the news outfit is run by a group of youths, all well below 30. Apparently, they know that the present and future of Maiduguri belong to them. So, They have chosen the occasion to appreciate individuals and organizations that have added value to the troubled city, including the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Chukwubrate, the State Commissioner of Police, and the wife of the State Governor, that were all represented at the occasion.
Those people who have remained a sign of hope for all of us.
The Excellence Award for the most impactful business went to the Galaxy Group, which they say creates employment opportunities for the youth on a weekly basis through its chain of businesses.
In the future, we want to use our NGO to rehabilitate some youth that cannot be able to secure a job. After the rehabilitation, we will be giving them job with Galaxy Transportation and Construction Services. So with this NGO and our construction and transportation company, I can assure that we will try our best to see that the youths are not being used to commit so many atrocities in the nation.
The CEO of the group pledges to increase investments in the state.
Correspondent examines medicine sufficiency and the Nigerian situation. The details after this break.
First event on the track, the 100 meters semi-finals.
Their team invites the general public to the book lounge, making steady, sustainable progress for Nigerians' peace and prosperity. A midterm scorecard on the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. Special guest of honor, President Muhammadu Buhari, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chairman of the occasion, Chief John Odige Oyegu, Chairman, All Progressives Congress, Book Reviewer, Prince Tony Momo, Keynote Speaker and Book Presenter, Asiwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Date Thursday, November 16, 2017. Venue, State House Conference Center, Abuja. Time, 11 a.m. For more enquiries, contact Femi Adesina, Malam Garba Shehu, Mr. Laolu Akonde on these numbers. Organizing Committee Announcer.
Glow's unbelievable prize extravaganza just turned the week upside down. Thousands of winners will win hundreds of millions in prizes. Recharge Monday and win a flat-screen TV. Ring in Recharge Tuesday with free 4G LTE phones. Recharge Wednesday and feel the power with free generators. Recharge Thursday with free fridges. Free microwaves make Friday free day. On Recharge Saturday, free Glow 4G MiFis. And just when you thought it couldn't get any bigger, a Sunday recharge could win you a car. Recharge and win every day. The more you recharge, the better your chances. The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
My promise to my child. I am not your friend. I am your mother. I will stalk you, debate you, and hunt you down if I have to. Because when it comes to protecting you, there's no such thing as too tough. That's why every night, I insist on Baygon Multi-Insect Killer for tough mosquito protection before bedtime. So I know my loved ones can fall asleep protected. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Baby, do me jet, jelly. Now you can find Coke Studio in your Coca-Cola bottle. Simply check under the crown for a code, dial *505# and send the code to download exclusive music, coloring back tones, and wallpapers of your favorite artists.
Catch the show on AIT every Sunday by 6 p.m. Promo exclusive to MTN subscribers only.
Coke Studio, where music meets.
Where is the pulp? The pulp. Where is the pulp? Where is the pulp?
Taste the
goodness of real orange pulp in every gulp.
Where's the pulp?
5 Alive Pulpy Orange, now in your neighborhood.
Shola, come and help me. You need to learn.
But I'm more interested in drawing.
How are you going to be part of the business if you don't learn?
You just don't understand.
Morning. Anyone for some Lipton?
The rich taste of Lipton awakens body and mind.
Let me have a look at your drawings. Son, these designs are amazing.
Lipton Yellow Label Tea. Awaken to what really matters.
Oh, see how oily I am. It'll take forever to clean this.
Take it easy, Pan. Your days of endless scrubbing are over. Madame just bought Sunlight dishwashing liquid.
What do you know about a Pan's life?
This advanced formulation has real lemon juice that'll cut through all those stains fast in just one wipe.
Wow, that was fast.
See how easy it is to remove oil in one wipe?
Sunlight dishwashing liquid removes oil stains in just one wipe.
I've been looking at you from across the way, and I think about you almost every day. Now I think that I must have a crush on you. I hope that you feel it too.
It's the natural ingredients and rich flavor of Knorr that brings people together.
Whenever pain occurs, you want quick relief. Try new Nurofen Express. It goes to the source of pain and gets to work in under 15 minutes. That's why Nurofen Express delivers fast and effective relief. New Nurofen Express works at the source of pain. Fast.
Being a mom is great, but when your child has a fever, you don't know what to do. I trust Nurofen for Children to take care of my child's pain and fever.
Effective relief you can trust.
Welcome back. In line with his commitment of improving the quality of life of Nigerians through nutritional products, Nestle Nigeria PLC has unveiled a new seasoning cube called Maggi Niger Pot to its class of Maggi cubes. Managing Director Nestle Nigeria, Mauricio Alarcon, says the new seasoning will give local cuisines the real sense of taste. Abolade Salami tells us more.
For over 5 decades, Nestle Nigeria, through its wide range of Maggi products, has continued to promote a healthy lifestyle of its customers. To maintain these standards in the market, as well as sustain great taste in local cuisine, the Managing Director, Mauricio Alarcon, says the new seasoning cube, Maggi Niger Pot, which has variety of fish flavor with unique combination of natural smoked fish and stockfish, will give soups and pottage the bottom pot taste.
It definitely has a much more, I would say, southern cuisine flavor to it. The second thing that makes it so unique is a lot about the ingredients and how we have adapted to the needs of the southern Nigerian cuisine.
He added that the new seasoning is focused on improving the product's nutritional profile by reducing salt and increasing micronutrient fortification.
Because we continue to commit to have local sourcings. We're talking that this Niger Pot, as our other cubes, have the majority of their ingredients locally sourced, which therefore makes a difference for the Nigerian community.
It's a perfect mix, a perfect blend of seasoning and spices to again enhance the taste of local foods. The purpose of it is to enhance what we call the bottom of the pot, enhance the taste of the bottom of the pot, to have this bottom pot taste from the bottom to the top of your pot.
High point of the event was the unveiling of the new seasoning Maggi Niger Pots. Guests had a taste of the new product through chefs who were on hand to do what they are best at. From Shagam in Ogun State, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Now, it is general knowledge that a nation's sovereignty is guaranteed when it attains sufficiency in the production of food and health consumables. Where this is lacking, it raises fears of safety and well-being of the populace. Chimdima Ndubisi in this report examines medicine sufficiency and the Nigerian situation.
Just like food is integral to man's survival,
Medications are also critical in the prevention and treatment of diseases. Their importance therefore underscores the need for availability, accessibility and affordability.
In terms of drug distribution and availability, drugs to some extent are available, but there are some drugs that are not available.
Where the reverse is the case, especially as it concerns essential medicines such as anti-malaria, antibiotics, anti-diarrhea and others, challenges arise.
The capacity utilization of the industries is about 25 to 30%. Most of the products you see around Nigeria, they are all imported, about 70% to 75%. When you compare with the other GDPs, we are contributing only 0.25% with about 178 manufacturing companies now. We should be doing more than that.
Experts say this portends great security risks.
There was a Lassa fever outbreak, if you will remember, and we don't have vaccines. They are not produced here. Now, supposing those who are making that medicine, we are in conflict with them. Supposing they decide not to send us the medicine.
If, for instance, the people that are supposed to provide us security do not have the appropriate medications to take care of their ailments, automatically their functions will be jeopardized. And so, if there is any, even civil disturbances, they will not be able to curtail it.
Pharmacists in Nigeria maintain that they have the capacity to bridge the production gap, which has given rise to shortfalls in supply chain, counterfeiting and high cost of commodities, but the enabling environment is required.
The problems that have been identified as militating against local manufacture include lack of power supply, that of taxation.
Establishment of petrochemical industries so that we can actually have all the raw materials that are needed to produce these essential drugs.
Now, Nigerian pharmacists are taking a bold step to change the narrative, as contained in the resolutions from their just concluded annual conference, part of which is that by 2020, starch, which is a key ingredient in pharmaceutical formulations, will be produced locally. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
And still talking health, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. That is exactly how we should view the reaction of the Jigawa state government over the painful death of about 50 children from a strange disease. The state government has reviewed its health care policy and now provides free treatment for children under the age of 5, pregnant women and victims of natural disasters. Health Commissioner Dr. Abba Zakari announced this chairing news in Jigawa, the state capital. Salisu Aminu has that story.
More than 50 children in Gidandugus village of Dutse local government area of Jigawa State lost their lives following the outbreak of the unknown disease. However, a recent laboratory test revealed that 90% of the death was as a result of malaria and typhoid fever.
Samples to General Hospital, and they looked at the samples, at least 10 samples. Out of the 10 samples, about 9 were positive for malaria and 8 still were positive for typhoid.
To avoid future occurrence of the incident, the Jigawa state government is constructing a primary health center in the village to provide access to primary health care facilities to the people in the area. In another development, delegation from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, led by head of laboratory section of Rashid Shekoni Specialist Hospital Dutse, Mohammed Maishahada, were in the village to render necessary assistance to the victims. The delegation provided pre-medical laboratory tests, counseling, and immunized children against killer diseases. Mohammed Maishahada suggested some advice to members of the community.
My advice to the people of this community is to be attending health care centers like clinics, primary health care, or general hospitals, because as we come for various laboratory investigation and outreach medication, we observe that they didn't even have medicines too.
Members of the community commended quick intervention of the federal and state governments to curtail the disease. They also commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the concern exhibited. Following the intervention of state and federal government, relief has come to Gidandugus village in Dutse local government area of Jigawa State. Salisu Aminu, NTA News.
2 suspected kidnappers have been killed by the Nigeria police force in a sting operation at Sabon-Gayan, Kaduna State, while 9 others have been apprehended along Abuja-Kaduna Expressway for various alleged criminal activities. Aliyu Tukur has the details.
Sunday, a vigilante leader at Sabon-Gayan was killed, leading to protests by the residents of the village, which resulted to provocation of motorists plying the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. Based on this, the Inspector General of Police directed the operation Bring Back Sanity to fish out the perpetrators and ensure that criminal activities along the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway is put to a stop. During patrol at the outskirts of the Sabon-Gayan village, the police were ambushed by suspected kidnappers, where 2 of the suspects were killed and a police officer sustaining serious injuries and currently receiving treatment in an hospital in Kaduna. The 9 suspects were arrested at various locations along the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway, including the Sabon-Gayan village. Parading the suspects, the force Public Relations Officer Jimo Moshood says the 9 suspects are charged for alleged kidnapping, car snatching, drug peddling and giving information to the kidnappers.
The Inspector General of Police have directed that all Assistant Inspector General of Police and all Commissioner of Police in charge of various zones and command beef up security in all their states of the Federation.
The suspects were paraded along with 2 Toyota Corolla cars, 1 AK-47 rifle, 2 locally made single-barrel guns, a locally made revolver gun, 7 rounds of live ammunition and a live cartridge, as well as 3 victims were rescued from the kidnappers' custody.
What I have to say about it is that one of my friends, there are 2, my friends, they used to snatch people's car. So if they want to go snatch the car, they go say, I follow them. If I follow them, go. They go say, I start the watch road for them before they come snatch the motor.
I'm a businessman. I sell clothes and cocaine. Cocaine.
Owners of the cars are advised to visit the Kaduna Police Command for identification and verification in order to claim their vehicles. Aliyu Tukur, NTA News.
One of the world's oldest serving presidents ousted. The details when we come back. Stay with us.
Presidential media team invites the general public to the book lounge, Making Steady, Sustainable Progress for Nigerians' Peace and Prosperity, a midterm scorecard on the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. Special guest of honor, President Muhammadu Buhari, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chairman of the occasion, Chief John Odige Oyegu, Chairman, All Progressives Congress, book reviewer, Prince Tony Momo, keynote speaker and book presenter, Asiwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Date, Thursday, November 16, 2017. Venue, State House Conference Center, Abuja. Time, 11 a.m. For more enquiries, contact Femi Adesina, Malam Garba Shehu, Mr. Laolu Akonde on these numbers. Organizing Committee, Anambra.
Can you see it?
Thank you, honey, for being such a blessing to me and our family.
Your perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. Every day, 16,000 children under the ages of 5 and thousands of adults die from infectious diseases. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily. In unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilet, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes. Germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 Cap Full for surface cleaning in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid, to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure. Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
There's such a thing as irresistible taste.
And you'll discover it in every pack of Chi Exotic.
When you feel the need to just relax, get lost in the taste.
The taste of celebration.
So, indulge and get lost in the taste of the Chi Exotic range of delicious fruit blends.
Oh, I love the taste.
Chi Exotic Nectar. I love the taste.
Helen!
Your kitchen gets 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
This also gets a 10. Should we see the toilet now?
Sure.
This gets just 1.
It is clean.
But not perfect 10.
Better than my detergent and bleach? Impossible.
Challenge? Try the new Apic 10X. Compared to bleach and detergent, Apic sticker formulation removes yellow stains times better, giving you a sparkling clean toilet.
Wow.
Now you also take that
Apic 10X challenge.
Also available in 200 ml pack.
Easy steps on how to enter the Be Inspired meetings drawers. Step 1. Download FGNI app from Apple Store or Google Play Store. Step 2. Go to the Be Inspired section and scroll down. Step 3. Click on one of the following options. A. Accept terms and enter draw NGN card if you want to pay with a Nigerian bank card. Complete all relevant sections. Click on Pay, select Pay with Card, enter your card details and complete the payment process. Or select Pay with Bank, select your bank and complete the payment process. B. Accept terms and enter draw NGN bank. If you have paid over the counter at any UBA branch and you have a UBA bank deposit slip, complete the relevant sections, including bank deposit slip number. Click Submit to complete the payment process. Or C. Accept terms and enter draw. PayPal. Log into your PayPal account and complete the payment process.
Welcome back. We now join Ogeageli Ugokwe for news across the globe.
Thanks for joining us on this segment of the news. Following the military activity in Zimbabwe, South Africa's President Jacob Zuma, who has appealed for calm, has stated that President Robert Mugabe has phoned to tell him that he is all right. Troops have continued to patrol the Zimbabwean capital, Harare, after the C-State TV and say that they are targeting criminal elements with the ruling ZANU-PF party. Some reports claim that the move by the Zimbabwean military may not be unconnected with last week's sack of VP Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa, leaving Mr. Mugabe's wife Grace as a likely successor. President Mugabe, 93, has dominated the impoverished country's political scene since it gained independence from the UK in 1980. The European Union has called for a peaceful resolution to the crisis in Zimbabwe.
This is the result of people not adhering to the rule of law. So the fate of this action on the people of Zimbabwe is chaos, is riotous, is going to affect both their economic and social life, which the system is supposed to protect.
From Myanmar comes the report that U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson briefly visited the country Wednesday and urged his two most influential leaders to investigate reports of widespread atrocities by the country's security forces against Rohingya Muslims. He urged both to halt the violence that has driven more than 600,000 Rohingya to flee over the border to Bangladesh since late August. Mr. Tillerson described the situation as horrific and a crime against humanity. He said he has advised against broad-based economic sanctions against Myanmar. That concludes this package. Thanks for being there.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has called for calm, peace and respect for the constitution in Zimbabwe. The president urged all political and military stakeholders in Zimbabwe to avoid any action that may plunge the country into unnecessary conflict and impact negatively on the region. A statement by Femi Adesina, Special Advisor to the President of Media and Publicity, says President Buhari raised concerns over developments in Zimbabwe, stating that every attempt must be made to resolve all contentious issues by constitutional means in order to save the country from avoidable political instability. The appeal by the Nigerian leader came in the wake of reported military takeover as a result of rising political tension in the southern African country, sequel to President Robert Mugabe's recent removal of former Vice President Emerson Mnangagwa. This led to the threat by the head of the Armed Forces of Zimbabwe, General Constantino Chiwenga, that the military will not hesitate to step in when the issue had to do with protecting the revolution. Up ahead, a bit on sports and the weather forecast. Stay with us.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
The production and distribution of counterfeit medicine and adulterated food products have negative impact on our health and economy as a whole. I urge all Nigerians to support NAFDAC in safeguarding our health. God bless Nigeria.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
President Muhammadu Buhari demonstrates commitment to sports with a reward of 17.5 million naira to women basketball players as NFF technical crew and players reach agreement on bonus ahead of FIFA 2018 World Cup. Amazi Marcus.
Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has redeemed his earlier pledge of giving monetary rewards to the country's women's basketball team, the Tigresses, for winning the Women's Afrobasket title, beating Senegal 65-48 in the finals in Bamako, Mali in August. Minister of Youth and Sports Development Solomon Dalung presented a total of 17.5 million naira to the team, with each of the 5 coaches getting $500,000 naira and 1 million naira each going to the players. In a related development, about 200 kids aged 9 to 12 from 12 schools across the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are set to compete in the 3rd edition of the Bethpage Basketball Academy Inter-Schools Championship, which starts at the Indoor Sports Hall of the Abuja National Stadium on Thursday. The 4-day grassroots tournament is part of the organizers' efforts at discovering future talents for Nigeria. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the Super Eagles for the 4-2 victory over Argentina in an international friendly decided on Tuesday. After Tuesday's 4-2 defeat of the Albiceleste of Argentina by the Super Eagles of Nigeria in an international friendly in Krasnodar, the football ruling body in Nigeria wants to avoid the bitter experience of the 2014 FIFA World Cup in Brazil, where the Super Eagles locked themselves at the Vitória Hotel Concept Campinas and boycotted training because of disagreements over bonuses, only to record a 2-0 loss to France in the second round and exit the tournament. To avoid such, NFF on Tuesday morning in Russia signed an agreement with the technical crew and players on bonuses and the sharing formula of the money from FIFA, with NFF getting $12.5 million at the group stage. NFF President Amaju Pinnick, technical advisor Gernot Raw, and Captain Mikel Obi were among 6 signatories of the agreement that equally covers preparations for the World Cup and bonuses for international friendlies. The sports update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
And now a quick check on Thursday's weather forecast. And that's how it has been on News Extra this week. I hope you had a pleasant viewing time with us. We'll be here again, same time, same station next week with another interesting package. Until then, on behalf of everyone out here, I thank you for joining us and I wish you a pleasant night rest.
Imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
The sharpest of starters, he'll have
This is the network service of the NTA.
This bill seeks to amend the long title of because we want to ensure that things are done right. Service of life. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.